Want to level up your English skills effortlessly? You are in the right place. Welcome to a channel dedicated to expanding your vocabulary every single day, helping you speak with confidence in business, professional settings, and beyond. 'Cause English is not just a language, it is a key to global success. Let's learn together. 1. Meaning of the word licked. Licked is the past tense of lick, and it has three main uses. To pass the tongue over something, usually to taste, clean, or moisten. The dog licked the bowl clean. It used its tongue to clean the bowl. She licked the ice cream before it melted. She tasted it with her tongue. To defeat or overcome. Used informally to mean beating someone or solving a problem. We finally licked the software bug after hours of testing. They solved the issue. He got licked in the final round of the tournament. He was defeated. To be lightly touched or hit, often by flame or wind. Used poetically or descriptively. Flames licked the edges of the paper. Fire gently touched or curled around it. The breeze licked her cheeks as she walked. The wind softly brushed her face. Synonyms: taste, slap, nibble. Defeat, beat, conquer, and overcome. Touch, brush, caress, flick. Antonyms: ignore, lose, fail, avoid. 2. Meaning of the word fall back. Fall back is a phrasal verb that can mean to retreat or move backward, especially in military or strategic situations. Used when someone or a group pulls back from a position, often for safety or regrouping. The soldiers were ordered to fall back and regroup. They retreated from their current position. When the negotiations failed, the team fell back to their original plan. They returned to a safer or earlier strategy. To rely on something as a backup or a last resort. Used when someone uses a secondary option because the first didn't work. If the job interview doesn't go well, I'll fall back on my freelance work. Freelance work is the backup plan. She always falls back on her savings during tough times. She uses her savings when needed. To decrease or decline, less common. Used to describe something dropping or receding. Sales fell back slightly after the holiday season. Sales declined a bit. Synonyms: retreat, pull back, withdraw, back off. Rely, depend on, turn to, resort to. Decline, drop, recede, diminish. Antonyms: advance, move forward, and push ahead, lead, wit. 3. Meaning of the word stumble along. Stumble along is a phrasal verb that means 1. Literally, to walk or move forward unsteadily, often tripping or losing balance. 2. Figuratively, to continue doing something with difficulty, uncertainty, or lack of skill, yet still making progress. It often conveys a sense of persistence despite awkwardness or setbacks. Detailed examples. Literal usage. He stumbled along the rocky path in the dark. He walked with difficulty, tripping or losing balance. The injured hiker stumbled along until help arrived. He kept moving despite physical struggle. Figurative usage. She stumbled along in her new job, learning as she went. She faced challenges but kept trying and improving. The project stumbled along without clear direction. It continued, but with confusion or inefficiency. He stumbled along through the speech, forgetting his lines. He struggled but kept going. Synonyms: literal, trip, falter, shuffle. Figurative, struggle through, muddle along, push forward, and fumble. Antonyms: tried confidently, move smoothly, excel, and glide. For meaning of the word stave off. Stave off is a phrasal verb that means to prevent or delay something unwanted or unpleasant from happening. It suggests taking action to keep danger, discomfort, or decline at bay, at least temporarily. It is often used with things like illness, hunger, failure, or conflict. Detailed example. Health and amp wellness. She took vitamins to stave off the flu during winter. She tried to prevent getting sick. Regular exercise can help stave off heart disease. It reduces the risk of developing it. emotional or mental states. He listened to music to stave off loneliness. Music helped him feel less isolated. They kept busy to stave off anxiety before the big exam. Distraction helped manage their nerves. Financial or strategic context. The company launched a new product to stave off bankruptcy. A strategic move to avoid financial collapse. She made a small payment to stave off eviction. A temporary action to delay being forced out. Survival or urgency. He ate a granola bar to stave off hunger during the hike. A quick fix to avoid feeling weak. The firefighters worked fast to stave off the spread of flames. They tried to prevent the fire from growing. Synonyms: prevent, delay, fend off, ward off, and hold back. Antonyms: invite, allow, succumb to, and give. 5 Meaning of rule out. Rule out is a phrasal verb that means to eliminate something as a possibility, option, or explanation. It's used when you decide that something is not suitable, not true, or not going to happen. It often appears in medical, investigative, or strategic contexts. Detailed examples. Medical diagnosis. The doctor ruled out pneumonia after reviewing the X-rays. Pneumonia was eliminated as a possible cause. Blood tests helped rule out diabetes. Diabetes was no longer considered a likely condition. Problem solving or investigation. We ruled out technical errors as the cause of the crash. Technical issues were eliminated from the list of suspects. Police ruled out foul play in the incident. They determined it wasn't a criminal act. Decision-making. They ruled out traveling this weekend due to bad weather. Travel was no longer an option. The manager ruled out hiring more staff this quarter. That decision was taken off the table. Everyday use. I've ruled out pizza for dinner, we had it yesterday. Pizza is not being considered tonight. She ruled out wearing heels to the hike. Heels were deemed inappropriate for the activity. Synonyms: eliminate, dismiss, exclude, reject, and disqualify. Antonyms: consider, allow, include, entertain, and accept. 6 Meaning of the word trite. Trite is an adjective that means overused, lacking originality, or no longer effective due to excessive repetition. Describes phrases, ideas, or expressions that once may have been meaningful but now feel stale or cliché. It is often used in writing, speech, or creative critique. Detailed examples. In writing or speech. The speech was filled with trite phrases like think outside the box and at the end of the day. These expressions are so common they no longer feel fresh or powerful. Her poem felt trite, relying on tired metaphors about broken hearts and rainy days. The imagery lacked originality and emotional impact. In ideas or concepts. The movie's plot was trite, a predictable love triangle with no surprises. The storyline felt recycled and uninspired. His advice sounded trite: just be yourself. The suggestion was too generic to be helpful. In branding or marketing, avoid trite slogans like quality you can trust, they don't stand out. These phrases are so overused they fail to grab attention. Synonyms: cliched, stale, overused, hackneyed, worn out, and predictable. Antonyms: fresh, original, innovative, creative, and thought-provoking. 7 Meaning of the word unwitting. Unwitting is an adjective that means not aware of what is really happening, not intended or done on purpose. Describes someone who acts without knowing the full consequences or someone who becomes involved in something unintentionally. It often conveys innocence, surprise, or lack of awareness. Detailed examples. Lack of awareness. She became an unwitting accomplice in the scam. She helped without realizing it was illegal. The tourists were unwitting participants in a political protest. They joined unknowingly, thinking it was a cultural event. Unintentional action. His comment caused offense, though he was completely unwitting. He didn't mean to hurt anyone, it wasn't deliberate. The software bug was introduced by an unwitting update. The update caused problems without the developer realizing it. Figurative or emotional use. She was the unwitting inspiration behind his novel. She didn't know her actions had sparked his creativity. He played the unwitting hero, saving the child without knowing the danger. His brave act wasn't planned, but it made a big impact. Synonyms: unaware, unsuspecting, accidental, oblivious, and unintentional. Antonyms: aware, intentional, deliberate, conscious, and knowing. 8. Meaning of the word adamant. Adamant is an adjective that means firmly refusing to change one's mind, opinion, or decision, even in the face of pressure or persuasion. Describes someone who is unshakably determined or resolutely committed to a stance. It often carries a tone of strength, stubbornness, or principled resolve. Detailed examples. In personal decisions, she was adamant about quitting her job to start her own business. She wouldn't be talked out of it, no matter the risks. He remained adamant that he wouldn't apologize for something he didn't do. He stood firm in his belief. In negotiation or conflict, the manager was adamant that the deadline could not be extended. No amount of pleading changed their stance. Despite protests, the government was adamant in enforcing the new policy. They stuck to their decision firmly. In emotional or moral conviction, she was adamant that honesty was non-negotiable in their relationship. Her values were clear and unwavering. He's adamant about protecting his family's privacy. He won't compromise on that boundary. Synonyms: firm, resolute, unwavering, unyielding, inflexible, and steadfast. 9. Meaning of the word egregious. Egregious is an adjective that means shockingly bad, glaringly wrong, or outrageously offensive. It is used to describe mistakes, behavior, or actions that are not just wrong but blatantly, obviously, or extremely wrong. It often carries a tone of moral judgment, disbelief, or strong disapproval. Detailed examples. In professional or ethical contexts, the company's egregious violation of safety standards led to a major lawsuit. Their actions were not just careless, they were dangerously irresponsible. It was an egregious breach of trust when the manager leaked private employee data. A serious and unacceptable betrayal. In public behavior or speech, his egregious comments offended nearly everyone in the room. The remarks were shockingly inappropriate. The politician's egregious lies were exposed during the debate. The falsehoods were blatant and damaging. In academic or technical work, the report contained egregious errors that undermined its credibility. Mistakes so obvious they couldn't be ignored. Failing to cite sources in a research paper is an egregious oversight, a serious lapse in academic integrity. In everyday use, leaving the dog in a hot car was an egregious act of neglect, a deeply troubling and dangerous decision. Her egregious spending habits pushed the family into debt. The behavior was recklessly excessive. Synonyms: appalling, outrageous, flagrant, shocking, disgraceful, and heinous. Antonyms: minor, forgivable, acceptable, subtle, and harmless. 10. Meaning of sanctimonious. Sanctimonious is an adjective that means pretending to be morally better than others, often in a smug, self-righteous, or insincere way. Describes someone who acts holier than thou, especially when their behavior doesn't match their preachy tone. It is often used to call out hypocrisy or moral arrogance. Detailed examples. In social or personal behavior, he gave a sanctimonious lecture about honesty even though he just lied to his team. He acted morally superior while being dishonest himself. Her sanctimonious tone made it hard to take her advice seriously. She sounded preachy and self-righteous, not genuinely helpful. In public or political speech, the politician's sanctimonious speech about family values rang hollow after the scandal. The moral preaching felt fake or hypocritical. He made a sanctimonious post about kindness and then mocked people in the comments. His behavior contradicted his message. In everyday conversations, "Don't be so sanctimonious, I know I made a mistake." The speaker feels judged or condescended to. She always gets sanctimonious about healthy eating, even at birthday parties. She pushes her views in a way that feels superior or inappropriate. Synonyms: self-righteous, preachy, holier than thou, smug, and moralizing. Antonyms: humble, sincere, modest, genuine, and down to earth. Thank you for staying with us until the end of the topic. We are always grateful for your support and will continue sharing helpful English vocabulary content to assist you in improving both your writing and speaking skills in the future.